Bitcoin is sagging. Well, you can almost say that actually, to its lowest level since late June. Thoughts and prayers to everyone who bought at 31,000 because right now it's at 29,700 and change, whatever it is. Anyway, joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is director at crypto brokerage Caleb & Brown, Jake Boyle. Welcome, Jake.
Hey, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on. So, Bitcoin falling below 30,000, 30,000 a key level. We got a bunch of options coming up next week at the 30,000 level. Is this going to be a short-lived slump, if you will? I don't even, it's just kind of like a drift down.
Look, the movements that we're experiencing now, obviously 30,000 is a key level. We haven't fallen too much below it, but we also didn't rise that much above it. I think it's critical to note that we've had a few hype events recently, XRP with the SEC last week, a few ETFs here and there being lodged, and these headlines come, they go, then macro events transpire, and the market is still very range bound and it's quite stagnant. I think we're not going to see any major movements for a little while until some key events become history for us.
Nonetheless, Bitcoin relative to ETH it's underperformed. ETH has overperformed Bitcoin over the past few days. You have a chart actually that shows that ratio where that spike, that rally, if you will. And if someone can bring it up here, it's the chart of ETH versus Bitcoin. The rally, of course, shows that little pop up there. That means that Bitcoin is outperforming. ETH is outperforming Bitcoin. Explain that and why we had that little bit of a rally relative to Bitcoin.
Yeah, great question. So Ethereum's buying power has gone up quite noticeably against Bitcoin, which over the last few years, I would say has generally been more on the rare side. Bitcoin typically absorbs a lot of market dominance, particularly as bull markets start to proceed. Now, what we've seen recently is Bitcoin, which is just under half of the entire market cap of the crypto ecosystem, it started to stabilize. Ethereum is still a part of the altcoin family, if you want to call it that. And as a result of that, it's more susceptible to short-term news announcements, updates, and whatnot. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. And I think that's a narrative that we've really run with this year. It doesn't change all that much. Ethereum is prone to upgrades. It's prone to community changes. Every other month, there will be a new project, which is the forerunner of Ethereum utility and smart contract utility. So it's subject to regular change. I think as the rest of the year proceeds, we're going to see more events where the Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance relative to one another becomes a real large talking point. We've got plenty of clients contacting us thinking, is the flippening, which was a core event of a few years ago that people were talking about, is that potentially on the cards? It's anyone's guess, but I believe the number one and number two spot for the crypto market leaders is certainly cemented.
Yeah, flippening not going to happen.
You also have another chart where you note that layer one protocols, Stellar and Solana, as well as layer two Optimism, had explosive double-digit growth following last week's XRP news. So I guess the question is why those three tokens specifically? Because you could see like a lot of different coins could follow that XRP news in different ways, but why those three?
Great question. So I think, first of all, starting with Stellar. Stellar is regularly associated with XRP. So I think that's a very one-to-one movement there. If XRP pumps on the back of the SEC news, we'll see Stellar follow. With respect to other coins, I'll use Optimism as an example here. Potentially, maybe it comes down to the name, but I think the reality with cryptocurrency is investors get burnt on old projects. We see some projects whereby they pump dramatically in a bull market, they fail to deliver on their promises, and then you've got all these bag holders, as you call them, who are just down 99% on their holdings. Optimism provides something new. It hasn't experienced a dramatic bull market, and it hasn't come down 99% from its all-time high. So Arbitrum is probably another example there, GMX. The list goes on. They're coins that haven't burnt so many investors such that people are fearful of injecting capital into them.
Jake, thanks so much for joining the show this morning. We're going to have to leave it there.
Thank you, guys.
That was Caleb & Brown Director Jake Boyle.